excited.
It's going to make its debut here as soon as we go live.
Okay.
All right, it looks like we are live, so here we go. Let's do this. I'm going to ask. Right, I tweaked some settings here. I was having some issues with my sound, so hopefully that is squared away. It kept cutting out, except I think somehow the sound gate was picking up my fan, which starts to run when I run OBS, and then it was muting me. So I'd start talking, and then it would just be nothing. So hopefully I've got that squared away. I'm going to get a new mic. Jake can hear it just fine, so it could be an OBS setting. Fortunately, I've got a show tomorrow morning at noon with one Josh Engelman, so we will get that live before lock squared away, and he can help me out. But Chris, this is it. This is your show. This is I'm going to cheers you. So truly, I am excited. You can't see me, but I have a truly.
Oh, so we are doing competitive spiked seltzer brands or sparkling seltzer, depending upon your worldview. I don't know that I like that. I think we should be on the same page,
All right. Well, I have grapefruit. My wife likes these. I had one at the beginning of summer. This will be my second one, but here, cheers to you, Mr.
Hey,
Spags.
here's to you with my White Claw. I'm glad that together we can unify the sparkling water category. And for the sake of all the people out there, and yes, as Emac mentioned, I'm Chris Spags. Welcome to Live Before Lock here on the Awesemo YouTube channel. It's Saturday. On Saturday, we are a couple of distinguished, really classy gentlemen who enjoy our sparkling waters while doing the show. And Emac, you know, one thing we also enjoy even more, rake-free daily fantasy sports. And we get that thanks to the fine folks at Fantasy Draft. Nothing goes better with a nice sparkling water than the rake-free daily fantasy at fantasydraft.com. You go there right now. If you use the promo code AWESEMO, you get yourself a 7-day trial and $1,000 in rake-free entries. That is really all going to help you out a bunch. You are trying to build your bankroll. If you're a newer player, Fantasy Draft is a great way to do that because they're just taking less off the table for you, especially with this deal with the promo code AWESEMO, AWESEMO at fantasydraft.com. That $1,000 in first rake-free entries. You could be winning a lot of money there, and they won't be taking a single dime from you because 100% of the entry fees go to the winners there of each tournament. So go right now to fantasydraft.com. Get yourself a White Claw or a Truly to go along with it and enjoy the game right there, the rake-free daily fantasy sports at fantasydraft.com. All right, Emac, you like that segue, right? I've been killing Jake with them each day.
This is, that was very good. That was like all professional and stuff. But yeah, here we go. So chat, not happy that I am having this White Claw, or what is it called? Truly. Sorry. I see everybody talking about these on Twitter, and I thought for the longest time White Claw was some micro beer or some, something regional that suddenly you could get everywhere. Like I like Fat Tire, and the grocery store out here in Northern Virginia that we go to is called Harris Teeter, and they had it down in North Carolina. But when I moved out here from Seattle, I liked Alaskan Amber, which is, you don't get out here, and I liked Fat Tire, which is similar. And finally they got it like after 3 or 4 years, and I was so excited. So for like 3 summers I had Fat Tire after mowing the lawn, and I don't drink Fat Tire anymore.
Yeah, the beers are good for you, but obviously, a little bit of a lighter sparkling water, spiked seltzer kind of thing is technically better for you. And I don't know. I'm not a guy. I think as you get a little older, the gluten stuff maybe not sitting as well, and your body's really not meant to process that. So I think that's where the sparkling waters come in, but they're not sponsoring us, so screw them.
No, but this, for the record, this is my second one. It's not bad. It tastes like grapefruit juice, or like when you have a half a grapefruit and then you're using the spoon to get the little juice out of the little bowl. That's kind of what this tastes like. So if I didn't know it had alcohol in it, I may not be aware. So.
Yeah, look, I think we should be the first DFS show sponsored by a sparkling water spiked seltzer company, but that's just me. That's me and my brand. I want to bring that to here. But you know what, Emac, we got a bunch of games, so let's get to it. We got ourselves a 12-game slate here on a Saturday, so we got a lot of quality plays to discuss as we go. And of course, since there is no deeper dive today, we will go game by game and make sure that we cover everything that you guys want to hit. So let's try to do this as best we can. Move with some pace. Let's go to Cincinnati getting 4.3 implied runs against Trevor Williams. Pittsburgh on the other side also getting 4.3 implied runs going against Alex Wood. This game, so I'm getting a little bit of Cincinnati in my crunches so far because there is going to be some ownership on Trevor Williams going the other way. Mm-hmm. And Cincinnati does have decent power bets. Aquino in the lineup, we've talked about a lot in these Saturday shows. He's got good power. He's up to a 500 ISO on the year and 61 batters faced. or 61 rather, 61 pitchers faced from the right side. So he's been looking good here. Suarez, also a known righty hitter. I like the Cincinnati stack here a bit, EMAC. Pittsburgh on the other side, I'm not as into, even though Alex Wood has not been great. He does generally limit power pretty well, just a 146 ISO going back to last season. So what are you getting in this game, EMAC? And the pitching, the hitting, just tell me all about all of it.
All right, I have done my Yahoo, made my 10 lineups, so I'll feather that in. I believe we now have all of the lineups. Fortunately, we've got 9 of the games going off in the 7 o'clock hour, 1 at 8:40, and then 2 at 9 in the 9 o'clock hour. So as Chris mentioned, we'll go through this with a little bit of hustle in our steps. So not getting much from this game on any of the sides. Trevor Williams will probably be an SP2. I will load my projections, or our projections, courtesy of Osimo himself, into my fantasy cruncher and start working on those. But I suspect pitchers here will probably be set at maybe 10% for Wood, 20-25% here for Williams, and it's more just of a cost thing at this point because I don't want all of the eggs into the Chris Anderson basket. Looking at both sides here, I would agree with you that Suarez and Aquino are the two I would probably look for. Also, I wouldn't mind Freddie Galvis. Let me see if I get some prices here on Galvis. He is 28 on FanDuel, 44, a little spendy on DK, and then 16 on Yahoo. So he's not really the leverage play I would be hoping for. But from this standpoint here, not a ton for me in this particular game.
Yeah, I think that's fair. And I think if you are trying to get leverage there, Cincinnati does jump out. But that 4.3 implied rental that we mentioned, not a great one there. So I don't mind the idea of it. And Pittsburgh's park hasn't been a bad one. But I think it's not a spot to really load up on Cincinnati. And I guess just given the ownership on Trevor Williams, you should hit on him fast. Do you feel comfortable with him given that he's at a reasonable price? Not a great pitcher, certainly, but he does open up some things. And he's going to be about 20% owned on DraftKings. So how would you feel about Trevor Williams if he's going to be that chalky?
So it makes me a little bit nervous here just because he does allow against his last 200 lefties, a 250 ISO, against his last 270 righties, 230 ISO. I'm slightly rounding there. But it's one of those where he gives up power, but he's a decent real-life pitcher. Strikeouts are the concern. He doesn't have a lot of them at 17%. Doesn't walk a lot of people at just under 7%. That's combined. Swinging strike rate of nearly 10. That's all right. He lets the balls go into play. He doesn't have a great ground ball rate or a great fly ball rate. Like literally 38% ground ball, 24% line drive, 38% fly ball. It's like borderline not great for all of them. But with that mix, it should mean he's not going to get hammered. No Joey Votto in the lineup here. Dietrich is back. He's batting at the bottom of the lineup, but he does have some power. And I always have to remember this. It's righty power that does not do well in Pittsburgh. Lefty does okay, or a little bit above average. In Pittsburgh, if you've been watching our shows or listening, particularly to Adam Ship My Money Share, PNC Park actually playing a little bit more hitter lean this year. I think that's partially due to more people swinging from their heels and their lack of a true stopper in their rotation. And that's one of the things you want to consider because parks will change. Okay, why do they change? Well, one, everybody pretty much plays the same teams, and if you're going interleague, you only play 2 or 3 games, so that's not going to swing the 81-game sample size. But weather has a huge effect, and who your pitching staff has a huge effect for those parks that shift, like Comerica from time to time. Any of these neutral parks, the Dodgers, they usually play a little bit better, and we forget about it, and then we get caught on day games because it plays more to the hitters during the day out there, for like their 4 o'clock starts. Or 1 o'clock starts local time, and their night starts, it's entirely different. But just wanted to throw that out there. That's kind of how park effects work.
Yep. All right. That works. So let's keep it moving here. On the next game, Tampa Bay getting 5.4 implied runs against America's hero, John Means, the noted all-star John Means. But Tampa Bay obviously having a very popular swing here through Baltimore, and they are going to be owned once again, it looks like, going against Means. Even though Means has done a decent job limiting production on the year, he has actually done really well against left-handed batters in particular, a 25% K rate, just the 1 whip, as well as a 3.4 xFIP. He is still giving up decent production overall to righties, especially 186 ISO to righties and an 18% K rate, so he's just not quite as good there. But still, relative to Baltimore pitching, not the worst in the world. On the other side, Baltimore getting 4.1 implied runs going against Austin Pruitt, a guy who's been serviceable in the majors so far, not pitching very deep in the games, but he's still, I guess he's a long reliever here. I forget who the, I think the opener is it Castillo? Wait, who's actually the opener for Tampa?
I forget who it is, but I'll get that up in a second. But whomever it is, Adam and I were talking about, they're going to go like 30 pitches.
Yeah. Yes, I edited out the openers on this on my sheet here because I just wanted to get to the long relievers. Pruitt is a long reliever, not that great price given that he is just a long reliever and not somebody I'm going to be getting to here. I imagine I won't have Baltimore. I won't have Pruitt. I am getting some Tampa Bay going against Means, and I am not getting any John Means. What are you getting in this game, EMAC, at Baltimore?
So it's going to be Alvarado is the guy who's going to start. He has 34 appearances this season, 29 and 2/3 innings pitched. 18, 17, 70. Don't put him in. Take him out of your player pool. You're getting 1 inning from him. So I don't want him. I really am not interested in Pruitt. On the other side, I'm not really excited about John Means. Let's see. Since the All-Star break, he has gone 1-6 with a 7.5 ERA. Not good at all. Prior to the break, he had about a 2.5 ERA. It's 3.8 on the season, so still relatively solid season-wise, but I don't want to go there. Tampa Bay is turning into one of the most popular stacks out there. A lot of it's pricing for some of their guys, particularly Duffy leading off. By the way, Duffy, isolated power against, oh shoot, I think the filter's wrong. Duffy's isolated power is against his last 194 matchups in righty-lefty matchups, 0.065.
Yep. Yeah, not a lot of power in that leadoff spot, but he's going to be chalky once again because of that value price. So if you are trying to get to a raised stack, much like yesterday, if you omit Matt Duffy, that is one way to get less chalky right away. If you go to a guy like Kiermaier, Adames, or Brousseau, Brousseau in particular has decent power in the 9-hole, and I think that's one way you can go to get away from there. But yeah, I agree. Duffy he projects well, but he's one of those value guys who really doesn't offer a lot, and he may pop up more in your optimizations than you'd want to have. Are you getting any of John Means at all?
No, because again, I haven't crunched, but I will. You got 0 on Yahoo intentionally. On DK, I won't get any.
All right, let's keep it moving then because we've got a bunch of games to get to here. And of course, please hit that like button. It's Saturday. We're all here. You guys are playing. We're playing and talking to you guys. Let's keep some positive energy here. Let's not be trolls on a weekend because it sucks enough being here on a weekend. But we got well, actually, it doesn't suck being with EMAC, but it's still, we're all here on the weekend. So let's just be a team. Let's all be good together. Hit that like button. And also, if you want to get a free half month of Osmo Plus, use the promo code live before lock right now at osmo.com/join. So we have no freebies today going on the site. So on the weekends, you got to pay for all of it. So go right now and get half off your first month with that promo code live before locks. Get all the ownership projections, player projections, and all the other data that we reference throughout this next hour. We got a game here, EMAC. The Angels heading into another one with Houston. Angels getting 4.1 implied runs against Wade Miley. On the other side, Houston getting 5.9 implied runs against Dylan Peters, guy who struggled with giving up power going back to last season with a 197 ISO allowed. But Houston just continues to disappoint as a full stack every night. I was there a lot yesterday. George Springer was my dong pick, and he just didn't get there once again. So I'm not going to Houston today. I think Peters has shown enough to me where I don't think he's a terrible pitcher. Maybe this is the day that they just get going, but Houston's so high priced where if you get there rather and they don't go off, you are just boned with your lineups. So I like Houston on paper. Really don't think I'm going to get there. Wade Miley at his price tag against an Angels team who already doesn't strike out a bunch, and Wade Miley also doesn't get strikeouts. I'm not getting there either, but I do think he limits runs well enough where I'm not getting to the Angels. This game a little bit less appealing to me than it may seem, but how are you feeling about it, Emac?
So Angels, basically Mike Trout as a one-off is about it. Wade Miley has gone 42 starts without allowing more than 4 earned runs. 2 of those starts he allowed 4. Everything else is 3 or less. He does not get blown up. Now, he's had a couple where there were some unearned runs, including 2 or 3 starts ago where he allowed 7 runs. Only 3 or 4 of them were earned. So really not excited for the Angels. On the other side, I really like Houston. You mentioned they're expensive. I think if you utilize, let me click on their lineup here. If you utilize Josh Reddick and Toro, especially where they're both $7 on Yahoo, you can get a wraparound stack that includes Springer, Brantley, Bregman, you're probably at that point going to be looking at Chase Anderson and then Max Fried or Wheeler as your pitchers. So the other guy I like in this one is Jordan Alvarez, coming in 74 career at bats because he's a rookie in lefty-lefty matchups. 440 ISO, 360, 360 ISO, 440 WOBA. Pretty awesome.
Yeah, I get it. Like, I think this may be one of those things where if you're playing DFS, you probably do have to be a little more blind to it. But I've been so heavy on Houston the last few days, and they just keep burning me over and over again. So I'm out. They couldn't get to Suarez. I'm troubled by it. But I agree, like, they still have the potential here, and that is more of a user bias thing than it is anything from looking at their numbers. On the year versus left-hand pitching, they have a 221 ISO, just an 18% K rate, and a 134 WRC+. Those are gigantic numbers for the team versus left-hand pitching. So it could be a good spot for them today. It's still worth some exposure, but I just won't go crazy because I'm exhausted of them. Any Angels hitters for you, Emac? Because I think they may pop up some with our projections that we have at Osmo.com.
Only Trout.
Okay, that is fair. All right, let's keep it moving so we keep the pace up here. We got Detroit with 3.4 implied runs going against Kyle Gibson. On the other side, Minnesota getting the Edwin Jackson treatment, who has been resurgent recently by Edwin Jackson standards, at least in terms of limiting full stack production. And Minnesota is currently pretty under-owned relative to their chances of being a top stack, according to our top stacks tool at Osmo.com. So I'm trying to get to Minnesota for full stacks. The pitching here, I could see getting to Kyle Gibson, I guess. It's not a terrible price for him. He doesn't project as well as I would expect, and he is going to be pretty chalky. So I'd have less Kyle Gibson in the field right now, 26% projected ownership on DraftKings. The Tigers, though, not a bad spot getting, I don't know about Willie Castro, but I'm going to assume he stinks. He's spelling Willie, W-I-L-L-I, which does not give me much confidence. But how are you feeling about the pitching in this game first, Emac?
You're saying it gives you the willies?
It does give, thank you. It does give me the willies. just right. No I, no E though, no E.
All right. Let's see here. Yeah, guys, I'm gonna get a new mic. I'm gonna get a new mic, I promise. But trying to make it work for now. I'm sitting closer. I've got it sitting right on the edge of the desk, so you're gonna hear me typing. But hopefully, if I keep talking at it, I'll keep that sound guard from screwing up whatever it is that it's doing. But in this game, absolutely take players against Jackson. He is a mess. This season, he is just allowing a ton of home runs. Kepler, Cruz, Sano are my top three. I think you can go to Jake Cave, CJ Cron at the bottom. As you mentioned, Stacks tool says these guys aren't going to be overly popular. A lot of it's because of the three guys I mentioned. Their prices are really high, as is Polanco's. But if you go with Cave and Cron, you can actually discount a little bit, run that wraparound again with Kepler, get to Cruz, and that would be the way I would go. My home run pick will be coming from this game.
Oh, okay. Are you just getting that Nelson Cruz now that you're in the driver's seat? You can get that pick up first?
Well, we'll see. My last two home runs, and they have been few and far between, were both Miguel Sano. So I'm trying to get a vibe here, as the kids said.
He had a double yesterday too, right? Him and Cave both, I believe.
I think so. I was not really on them. Horrible night. 3 of my last 4 days have been horrible. Lost about 70-80% of my buy-ins. One positive day in that. So I'm on a little bit of a slump, but that's okay. We'll get it back. It's baseball.
That'll happen. Look, we do try to be honest here at the channel, and I think Adam is one of the more honest people as well, on who you do a lot of shows with. And sometimes you get ass kickings, and that's the goal, is to minimize the ass kickings as much as possible and to win as much as you can when you are winning. And unfortunately, that is the name of the game with DFS lately. But yeah, I think that twin stack yesterday was Sano and Cave going off, and everybody else, like Nelson Cruz, had a terrible day. All of our dong picks had terrible days yesterday. So that's always fun when we can fail miserably in a public way.
I don't know that we got any from all of us. Unless Jake.
I did the update beforehand, and we did not get anything at all. So that was real fun. How are you feeling about Kyle Gibson here? He's chalky. He doesn't project at over a 2x value. So that is one of my disqualifiers. I'm sure I'll still have some, but not very much. Definitely not the 26% expected on DK. Is he somebody you'll get to where the field is, Emac?
Absolutely. He was probably 30 or 40% of my lineups on Yahoo. Well, I haven't counted, but at least 4, might have been as high as 6. I was trying to differentiate just a little bit there at the end. DraftKings, I'm looking for kind of a third of him, Clevenger, whom we'll get to. And then I forget who my third was. Let me go over here. Clevenger, Gibson, and Chase Anderson are going to be my top 3. I see the popularity's kind of diffused a little bit. Max Fried's got a little bit more. Trevor Williams has a little bit more from the most recent updates. But Gibson will be my number 1 and number 2 pitcher, right there with Clevenger.
Okay. Yeah, that's a take. I think that's also a fair one. Honestly, he's pitching deep into games. He is going almost 6 innings per start, which is pretty good. And going against a Detroit team who's not very good, we've seen the upside going against them recently. I think that obviously Kyle Gibson is not Justin Verlander or Garrett Cole or Jose Barrios, who got blown up yesterday. But still, it is a decent spot here on paper going against a Detroit team who really has nothing to offer versus right-hand pitching. 27% K rate and a 74 WRC plus on the year. Let's keep it moving. Got Kansas City getting 2.9 implied runs against Mike Clevenger, who's going to be very chalky today, but he is an elite pitcher who you're probably going to get a lot of on optimizers today. On the other side, we have Cleveland getting 6.1 implied runs against Glenn Sparkman, who we all know about, not a great pitcher at all, but a guy who's had moments of brilliance, I guess, to his credit, but still for the most part bad, giving up a 200 ISO going back to last season. This year is 5.6 xFIP and a 1.4 whip, as well as a 7.5% barrel ball rate, which is a bit lower than I would have expected. But what's really noteworthy, a 13.4% K rate. So you know Cleveland's going to get a chance to put up some production today. I have a lot of Clevenger. I do not have any Kansas City going against him. And I'm going to have some Cleveland going against Sparkman, but probably not that much. I think they are looking, well, they're looking pretty fairly owned right now, according to the top stacks tool. How are you feeling about this game, Emac? And let's talk about Clevenger first. Are you going to be with the field on a chalk Mike Clevenger?
Yeah, my goal is at least the field and up to 40% with Clevenger. Now, the key with that is it's going to cost you Minnesota and Houston stacks. So you're going to want to be careful and double check what's coming out if you're doing the mass multi-entry or using an optimizer. I see that this one's for SJM. He's asking, I want to get to Clevenger. He's playing on Fantasy Draft, which of course is a great place to play. So if I'm looking there for some savings, I want to throw out for him Jesus Aguilar, Rowdy Tellez, both first basemen, which you play 3 infielders, 3 outfielders, 2 utilities there on Fantasy Draft. So those guys are really good point per dollar plays. I think Cave is also solid, and then Manny Machado discounted throughout the industry. So those are the guys that are going to be the ones that help you get to Clevenger. I don't see any reason not to take Clevenger in this one. Outside of the price, but he is by far my number one guy. Again, I'm really going to be concentrated on 3 pitchers here.
Okay. And how about the hitters for Cleveland here? Because they are the one part that is also worth noting here. I'm going to assume you don't have any Kansas City bats, but Cleveland does have a decent shot here going against Sparkman, certainly a pitcher who hasn't shown much this year.
I have one stack of Cleveland on Yahoo because I kind of hand-build those. I think 2 Houston, 3 Minnesota. I found it better on Yahoo to do 5-man stacks as opposed to 6-man stacks. And then I'm kind of mixing and matching with, like I mentioned, 4 or 5 pitchers there. For me, I think that Cleveland is going to be the counter move to Houston and or Minnesota for best stack of the night. So I really like them. It's kind of hard to, obviously, because these guys are all in good spots and they're getting their pricing. They're a little expensive, but that's okay. You might look at 3 and 4-man stacks instead of trying to go all 5 on DK.
All right, so let's keep it moving here. Texas getting 4.2 implied runs heading in the game with the White Sox at Chicago. The White Sox getting 4.8 implied runs against Kobe Allard. And again, Texas getting 4.2 against Ivan Nova, which seems really low going against Ivan Nova, but I guess he's been pretty decent on the year. Actually, no, he really hasn't been. He's been decent at limiting power, I guess, overall, but certainly not a guy who I would think getting a 4.2 implied runs hold against Texas, but they are in some degree of shambles, so who knows. And the White Sox on the other side getting 4.8 implied runs against Kobe Allard, a guy who's had some better success this year, 22% K rate in a limited sample size. He's faced 69 batters, which of course a very nice number to be facing in terms of batters, but it is still a spot here where Kobe Allard hasn't shown much in the majors going back to last year. The ownership, it looks like, going to be fairly low for both these teams, but still higher owned than their chances of being a top stack. So I imagine I'm not going to have much of this game, though it does feel odd that this Texas total is so low, and maybe is a move to go there a little bit. But Emac, how are you feeling here? Are you going to have any of Texas or the White Sox?
All right, so here's why Texas is low. You've got the wind coming in 10 to 12 miles an hour from left field. That's going to impact their right-handed hitters. They do have a few in the lineup. They've got, they're missing Joey Gallo. Nomar Mazara is on the DL. Danny Santana is dinged up. Willie Calhoun is your number 4 hitter. Nick Solak is your number 5. Rugned, I love to strike out or walk. Odur is 3. He's your 6 hitter. Then you got Logan Forsythe, Scott Henneman, and the DFS mascot Jeff Mathis. I don't want any of those guys. On the other side, I'm good with Anderson, Abreu, Moncada, Jimenez and McCann as a stack against Allard, it's not going to be a leverage stack because Allard is not really popular tonight. So I just kind of like those guys. Maybe a 3-man, maybe some one-offs. We'll have to see.
Okay, yeah, that seems fair. And yeah, Allard is, I think on FanDuel, he seems a bit more reasonably priced, but on DK, I can't imagine playing him at that price tag. I don't really know. I think they're just pricing him for that one good game he's had this year, or I guess he's had 2 decent games, but yeah, I don't really get the pricing on Allard on DK, and I can't imagine getting there. Would you have any Nova interest though? He's pretty cheap and he's gotten some decent results, and I don't know, he's a play.
No. So here's the fun thing with Nova. He has, let's see, let me get back over. Last 7 games, he's allowed 2 home runs, but he's allowed 24 on the season. His last game was a little bit rough, 5.1 innings, and he gave up 10 hits, 1 walk. He is not walking anybody, literally. In his last 7 games, he has allowed 7 walks. He also has a grand total of like 12 strikeouts or 14 strikeouts. So he's not walking anybody, not striking anybody out. Most of the runs that he's allowed are coming on home runs, but he's only allowed 2 of them. So as I mentioned earlier on the early bird and then on the other show, the regression monster is lurking. The regression monster is hungry. And shout out to my buddy Dean Shavelson, Dean7890210. If you want to get all technical on me, that's his term, the regression monster. So I am borrowing that one.
But I thought you were doing like a big mouth thing with like the puberty monster, but
no, it's the regression monsters lurking and they're hungry, kind of like the smoke monster. We'll talk about the smoke monster in that last game, but I think it's fool's gold going to Innova. I also think it's to Yvonne Nova. Sorry, not Innova. Innova. I keep doing that. It's a regional hospital out here. But I think it's fool's gold trying to get Texas. So Calhoun might be the only guy I'm interested in.
Okay, that's fair. Let's move on. Let's get one more game in before the Dong picks, which of course we will be hitting in a few minutes. Like, damn it, should we even do that? Now I'm like struggling with if we should do this game, but we might as well. This one probably won't take too long. Arizona getting 4.2 implied runs going against Chase Anderson, who's going to be probably pretty popular today if you are running optimizers. He's also going to be pretty decently owned on DraftKings at 21% expected ownership. On the other side, we got Zack Gallon going against Milwaukee, getting 4.8 implied runs. He's not going to be his own, but I do think he's a quality pitcher. I don't like going against Milwaukee. I really don't like going against Milwaukee with a righty. They do have those lefty bats here who rake, and also Keston Hiura is a monster versus righties, but terrible versus lefties. So I like Gallon enough to have a little bit of exposure. I'll be with the field on his ownership. I will also be probably above the field on Chase Anderson, it looks like. I'm still kind of sorting through everything right now. Let's talk about the pitching here, EMAC, and let's talk Chase Anderson first. How are you feeling about him today? He's done decently well. He's priced still pretty reasonable. He's pitching deeper into games and not a good pitcher, but a perfectly serviceable one against an Arizona team with really not much to worry about for right-handed pitching.
All right. So with regards to Anderson, he's extremely reverse splits. His last 570 righty-righty matchups, a 355 WOBA ISO against lefties, so opposite-handed, where he does not have the platoon advantage, 156 ISO and a 277 WOBA. So what I wanted here is the righties. So on Yahoo, I do have one stack with its bottom half. It's Walker, Jones, Ahmed, who's incredibly spendy there. He's like 20, and then Kelly. I don't think anybody's going to be on that because it's a bottom half stack and Ahmed is way overpriced. But I wanted a little bit of leverage against Anderson for my own purposes because he will be 30-40% of my DK lineups for pitching. So I think he is someone I definitely want to go to. Not a ton of strikeout upside. Ideally, he doesn't implode. I'm looking for a quality start, handful of strikeouts, and I'm good with that on his DK price.
And how about Zack Gallon on the other side? Because he's got a 28% carried on the air, a mediocre 1.3 whip, and a 4.4 xFIP, which maybe means that there are bad things to come. But I think he's good. He's limited power pretty well, just a .096 ISO on the year. Granted, he has pitched in Miami and Arizona. Those are 2 parks that are going to help out a pitcher quite a bit. Now he's in Milwaukee. Again, he's getting these guys. Yelich, who has a 179 WRC plus versus righties, as well as a 326 ISO. Here has a 324 ISO and a 169 WRC plus versus righties. Moustakis, Grandal, all these guys also pretty competent. Thames as well. So how are you feeling about Gallon here? And do you think he's worth any exposure as I do, even though I will have some Milwaukee going against him too?
No, I don't want any part of him. 0 on Yahoo. I'll set him at 10%.
Okay, that's fair. I'm a Gallon fan. I am a somewhat unabashed Gallon fan for whatever reason. I just think he does a good job overall. So I don't mind getting to him a little bit. I think the 10%, 11% ownership for him seems pretty fair, but I think it is a terrifying lineup for sure. And even though he hasn't given up a ton of power, Milwaukee can find power. I mean, they could squeeze it out of any crevice. So the 4.8 implied run total, though, not bad. I think that is some respect for our boy Zack Gallon. Even if he does get blown up today, I think it's still a spot.
And I think he's a good pitcher. 15 other teams, I'd be taking him at this price.
Okay. That is fair. Gallon can be a good pitcher and he can be a good pitcher other days, but he is running into a bit of a buzzsaw here, but I think the strikeout rate jumps out. It's also for Zack Gallon, for what it's worth. He is getting, as Osmo likes to point out. So now Jake and I are doing that especially. So Mac, if you want to start pointing it out too, if you want to join the cool kids club where we're stealing things from Osmo, Chase Anderson, a 53% K rate down at the bottom there. So that should give Zack Gallon a little bit extra oomph, one would think. But that is, besides that, though, not the highest K rate. Only 4 hitters above league average in K rate in Milwaukee's lineup. Let's keep it moving here. We've got Atlanta getting 4. Actually, no, Dong picks. Sorry, my bad. That's the most important part. How could I forget that? Of course, the Dong picks, an ongoing public embarrassment for me every single day, which is just a delight. But on the year, though, right now the race is between Jake and EMAC. Jake, of course, a returning co-champion with me, so I will take that first. No one can ever take away that first crown of Dongs that Jake and I shared. But this year it is all Jake and EMAC. Jake has 28 correct picks and 28 total dongs and 25 correct picks. EMAC also at 28 total dongs and 25 correct picks. Jake's pick rate slightly better, but EMAC still, you are the man to beat overall in terms of just being in the catbird seat all year long. Josh right behind Jake, or not right behind, significantly behind Jake. And I am also behind Josh enough. And Chris Rendon just hasn't had as many picks, but he is still bringing up the rear there. So EMAC, I'll let you pick first because I think you wanted to pick a twin, and I don't know who I'm going to go with yet. So you follow your heart, EMAC. Who's it going to be?
All right. Yes, I know the mic is bad. Thank you for letting me know. I appreciate that. But it's what I got. We'll get one in for next week. I'll be ordering it today on Amazon. Now, for the Dong picks, I got to say, give me 2 pair. Because I need 2 pair. So I can get stomping in my Air Force Ones. Nelly, baby. Nelly Cruz.
All right. That was so okay. I did get
Give me 2 pair. I need 2 pair. There you go. Doing some stomping, baby.
Did not expect you to be rapping along to Nelly during this race. So that's a bit of a curveball, but damn it if I don't respect it, EMAC. Oh man. All right. So I think I'm also going to pick a twin, but not to troll you, but just because it seems like the right move. I'm going to go, you know what? He's hot. He had a double dong yesterday, which I generally don't like to tail, but I'll go to Miguel Sano. It's 5K Miguel Sano on DraftKings. What a world. What a world.
That's a good pick. I like that one, Chris.
Yeah, that's fair. Thank you, EMAC. We're both supporting the Minnesota Jakes today. And of course, if the other guys have any things in premium Slack, we will let you guys know because of course, Jake and Josh's pick and Chris Rendon's pick this week, especially, they've all been really solid, but those guys may be out enjoying life today on a Saturday. Those bastards, those rat bastards. Speaking of, we are here again on a Saturday, guys. So please hit that like button. The likes mean a lot to us. It helps us bump up and search algorithms and recommendations and all that. So it actually is an important thing. It's not just us kind of pandering for limited self-worth that we have. Even though that is also true, I have very limited self-worth, and the likes do help me kind of balance it out a bit. It is really more of a work thing. So please hit that like button for us, guys, because we appreciate each and every one of you, and we hope you appreciate us. Let's keep it moving, though. We got let's see, where are we? Got Atlanta getting 4 implied runs against Zach Wheeler, who is over 10K. And I just, Zach Wheeler's been good on the year, but damn it, it's every time I see a guy over 10K who just kind of blows my mind, I feel bad for Adam, who has been waiting for poor Sonny Gray to get a 10K day, and it still has not happened. And this week, we've seen Marco Gonzalez, we've seen Zach Wheeler be over 10K.
Wade Miley was 11-2 in his last start.
It's almost like they're trolling him. Like, honestly, it was Sonny Gray not topping 10K this year, but it's still hilarious. But Zach Wheeler has been good on the year for whatever it's worth. Still a tough spot against Atlanta. Obviously, they have enough good hitters in that lineup. But Wheeler on the year, a 3.9 xFIP, a 1.3 whip, a 24% carry. That's not great for that price tag. He's pitching deep into games with a 6.2 inning pitched going back to last season. As well as only a 114 ISO allowed. So he's actually, honestly, he may be the real number 2 instead of Syndergaard, I would think. Because Syndergaard, I feel like, just always kind of gets blown up. And Wheeler's just been steady trucking along. Not a great strikeout guy, but just kind of limits damage in a way you want to see. So I don't hate the idea of Zach Wheeler. He doesn't project terribly well, but 20% ownership on DK, sure, why not? On the other side, you got Max Fried, who I am getting some of right now. He projects pretty well. The Mets, a terrifying team to me because they have so many power hitters there with Alonso. JD Davis has been looking better. Wilson Ramos also has pretty big power. Michael Conforto, a little better versus righties, but still a pretty good hitter overall. Ahmed Rosario, also really good versus left-handed pitching. So actually, I may try to force some Mets stacks going against the amount of Fried ownership I have right now, but I am going to have Fried. I'm probably not going to have as much Wheeler as the field. What are you getting in this game, Emac?
It's going to be Fried. This will actually be the 5th time he has faced the Mets. 3 of them were starts. One was, I don't know if it was near the All-Star break or something, but it was just an appearance. 17 innings, 3.2 ERA, 1.6 whip, 16 strikeouts in those 17 innings. It's his price. 8,300, I can kind of get there. I don't really want to go to Wheeler. I think it's an okay matchup. 4th time he's going to be facing Atlanta. I have paired them on 2 lineups on Yahoo because I'm trying to box that elusive win, and they're both $38 there. I like that price better than their DK prices, but for me, Fried will probably be my number 4 or 5 most popular pitcher.
Okay, that's fair. Look, Max Fried, not a great strikeout pitcher, more of a guy who just kind of keeps the ball down. A 24% carry rate for him on the year, which I actually a little better than I would have thought, but 3.5 xFIP. He's done a good job mitigating damage for the most part. Also a 143 ISO. So this is just a game to me. I could easily see it being a pitcher's duel. But that said, I will still have a little bit of Mets exposure, and I probably will not have any Atlanta going against Wheeler. Are you going to have any bats in this game at all, Emac?
No.
Okay, that's fair.
I will set each team at like 3% on DK, so I may get a little bit. Alonso's the only one I really want.
All right.
Of everybody, and maybe Freeman on the other side. That's it.
Yeah, this definitely to me does not seem like a full stack game just based off of the impressions we have and how these guys frankly don't give up a ton of power. But I do think with the ownership on them, I could see getting to some mini stacks and trying to, just get a little bit in case these guys do blow up because it is a game where these guys haven't given up a lot of power. So it's hard to imagine the full stack getting there. But if they do have a bad day and you get leverage on 20% and 25% of the field, that is a lot of leverage available out there if you somehow pull that off. But let's keep it moving here. We got a game with Colorado heading into St. Louis. Colorado getting 3.7 implied runs against Dakota Hudson, who had a no-hitter for an extended period of time because that is what baseball is turning into as the year goes on. Now, on the other side, St. Louis getting 5.3 implied runs against Chichi Rodriguez, who, much like Peter Lambert, a guy who kind of sucks, but also sucks worse because he's in Coors, but he also doesn't get strikeouts. He also gives up he's at a 255 ISO for the year, so that is not good. The barrel ball rate, though, of 6%, not that high. So, Peter Lambert didn't get there yesterday, so I don't want to take the actually, no, he didn't have a good day. I know he didn't have a good day. I don't know if he had a terrible day. Let me just double check that.
Yeah, Lambert's kind of a mess. Pardon me, not Lambert. I'm sorry, Chichi. He's cheap. I'll end up with a little bit. That's going to be on teams where I've got Clevenger and either the Cleveland, Houston, or Minnesota. So I'm going to start doing my crunches here in just a moment. I did want to call out, I don't usually do BVP, but I do want to call out Freddie Freeman against Wheeler. 14 for 26. That's a 538 batting average. The best part, he has 13 walks. So he walks literally a third of the time when he faces Wheeler. That is insane. Now, I don't know how many are intentional, but that's nuts.
That is a bit of, that feels like an aberration stat, but that is worth noting for sure. And just to close the loop on Peter Lambert, he had a serviceable day. He gave up 6 hits and 2 earned runs and a little bit over 4 innings pitched, but that only resulted in a negative 0.85 score.
Wait, is it Lambert or Rodriguez?
No, Lambert yesterday, because I feel like
that's okay. Sorry. The days all run together here.
We got Chichi today, who I feel like, to me, based on the numbers and what I've just seen of them, I think they're very comparable pitchers. I would not expect Chichi to find strikeouts today. I think maybe he can hang in there long enough to have a decent day, but Lambert has pitched deeper into games and he did not get there either. So I think still Chichi not really a play, but he was popping up for me because of the randomness of pitcher and all that. How about the hitters here, Emac? Because, Hudson is going against a Colorado team who does stink, but maybe people will be trusting Hudson a little more. It doesn't look like that ownership-wise, but could be some logic going there. And St. Louis as well, because Chichi is actually going to be a bit owned. He's got about 10% ownership on DraftKings. St. Louis does pop up for me, too, as a leverage play. So would you have any of the hitters in this game on either side?
So I didn't get to it on Yahoo, but I do think you want to look at Blackman, Murphy, Tapia, and McMahon. Hudson, not. I think those guys were in the lineup. Let me refresh that. So Hudson, good ground ball pitcher, gets killed by lefties, and he doesn't strike people out. I was joking with Jake on the earlier show. I said, if I said 3.5 strikeouts for Hudson, what would you take? And he said, well, I think his ceiling is 5 in this game. So it's not going to be very high. He's just kind of priced out of it. I did get one stack of St. Louis on Yahoo, so I guess 10% there for me. But I don't think I had Carpenter, and I know I didn't have Carpenter in it, so I'm trying to get. Sorry, I had to refresh here, and it's killing my updated
also,
stuff.
Well, while you're refreshing that,
so Carpenter's not. Sorry, let me just finish. Yeah. Carpenter's not in the lineup, but for me, it's Ozuna, De Jong, Molina is 7 on Yahoo, and Bader is 7. You can help them. They're kind of a synergy play. They're batting 6 and 8. No one's going to be on them, but it's a way to save some money. My apologies, Chris. It's all
no worries. I thought I would give you a second to refresh whatever you're doing, but so Josh's John pick is in as well. By the way, he's going with Francisco Lindor, so he is going to the Cleveland side of that equation, trying to target old Glenn Sparkman. So just update your picks accordingly if you want to get all those picks in there. But a twin stack with a Cleveland stack, and then you're talking getting all those Dong picks in there in a logical way. But yeah, I think your takes are fair on the hitting there, and I would agree for the most part. And Hudson as well with the strikeouts. He's only been an 18% strikeout pitcher on the year. So even though he did have that seeming aberration game where he was throwing a no-hitter, it seems unlikely he'll find enough strikeout upside here, even though there are some easy strikeouts there. And again, the Awesemo metric for pitchers, Chichi Gonzalez. Chichi Rodriguez is a golfer. Right?
Yes! I'm not the only one that's done that.
It's funny because I barely know who he is, but there's only so many Chichis in the world. So yes. But anyway, he's got a 70% K rate on the year against right-handed pitching. So Chichi Gonzalez could give up some extra Ks to Dakota Hudson today to maybe make him a little more valuable.
Did you at least do the little sword wave with your putter? Acting like
yes, it? I think he was in an episode of The Simpsons, maybe, or
probably.
I don't know. There's some reason I know him, and it's not because I'm a big Chichi Rodriguez golf fan. That's not much is for sure. And real fast, St. Louis on the other side, EMAC, you going to have any of the hitters because they are pretty decent chalk against the little bit of ownership that Chichi will have.
Yeah, as the ones I threw out there.
Sorry, my bad. Yeah.
No, it's okay. I think it's a little tough because we broke down Matt Carpenter. He's just been in one hell of a slump this season. Maybe it's time. He's surprisingly only has 8 years or this is his 8th or 9th season, but he's 33. So he kind of got a late start there, but he had been such a stalwart for a long time. He's batting .212 on the season. He's on pace for 18 home runs and 65 RBI. So he's on pace for a normal old school 90s middle infielder. We don't want that. So just be careful. I like De Jong, Ozuna. They're both good in righty-righty matchups. And then again, as I mentioned on Yahoo specifically, Molina and Bader are the minimum, and that helps you if you're trying to maneuver those extra $1 or $2 to get in that $38 range between Fried, Wheeler, and then up $2 to Chris Bassett. That would be one way you could go cheap. Jesus Aguirre, I think, is 8 there. As well on Yahoo. So those are the 3 cheapies I had been using a little more than I thought. I'm guessing I have all those guys on 3 or 4 teams total, which is a little higher than normal, but just it's a function of their price.
Okay, that seems fair to me. And let's keep it moving. We got Boston once again in San Diego, who is it looks like a very low implied total game overall. My sheet just zoomed in for some reason, but we got Boston getting 4.3 implied runs against Dinelson Lamet, who has been a guy who projects well for the most part with Osmos projections on the year, and he's actually paid off pretty decent dividends at low ownership from time to time again. The Red Sox also perhaps a bit adrift since that Chris Sale injury. I feel like I've mentioned that a few times, and I don't think we've seen much production from them since then. Some guys have had decent days, but overall, the full stacks have not been getting there. And Lamet on the year, a 31% K rate. He's getting barreled a bit, though, with a 9% barreled ball rate, but a 1.2 whip and a 3.8 xFIP. So I actually am getting a little bit of Dinelson Lamet at just 6% ownership on DraftKings. On the other side, we have Nathan Eovaldi getting back in the rotation here, going against San Diego, who's getting 4.2 implied runs. I am not getting much San Diego, even though Eovaldi on the year, limited sample size, but low chase rate, a 9% barrel ball rate, a 5.1 xFIP. He has not looked good. The park, though, is going to favor the pitching here, so I imagine I won't have much of the hitters, even though, really not ownership on the pitching either. So I don't think I'll have much of the hitters at all, period. But EMAC, how are you feeling here about Lamet first?
No, a little too spendy, and I don't like taking anybody against those Boston hitters. DK Price.
They are good. I mean, Devers.
You may want to add some more to your 20 max here, or enter one new contest just with some Boston hitters.
No, that is fair. I mean, look, they do grade out well overall. They've been murdering right-hand pitching on the year. They have a 2.2 ISO on the year, and you're right. There are 5 hitters here over a 124 WRC plus in that top 5. The only bad hitter in the entire lineup is Christian Vasquez, and of course Eovaldi, who is not good. Everybody else here has power, but I just think Lamet's been good enough. Like he is prone to giving up some power. So yeah, you're right. I probably should with the amount of Lamet I have. I am about 3 times the field on him right now. I think getting some Boston there may be the move I make for my last few lineups, but it's a low total here. And I think maybe that's respect for Lamet, or also just kind of acknowledging the fact that Boston is playing for a playoff spot they're very unlikely to get. So I could see it with the prices, but I think Lamet's good enough. Lamet's kind of nasty, like a little nasty.
He does have good strikeout stuff, and I think that's why he's projected well in Alex's stuff. For me, Jake and I talked about this a little bit. That's more of a late slate play. On Yahoo, Manny Machado really, really cheap. Renfroe is as well. I want to say Eovaldi's going to go about 60, 65 pitches maybe. And I was a little surprised Will Myers wasn't in the lineup. But, Machado, the 3-person stack for the late slate going against Eovaldi. I will not have any Eovaldi. Very little Lamet, and it's going to be on the late slate for his DK price point.
Okay, that's fair. Let's see. Oh, also the very snack like Jake Hari's pick is in. He's going with Paul Goldschmidt. So got a bunch of picks in today. The people want to get up the standings here, the dong picks, and not Josh nor Jake want to give up any ground here. So they know the Saturday show is where we get hot. Don't let those boys get hot. That's what Josh and Jake are thinking right now. Let's keep it moving here. We got a couple more games left. And of course, please hit that like button. And last but not least, if you want to get half off your first month of Osmo Plus, use that promo code Live Before Lock. It's valid on any day, but right now, especially a great day to do it. If you want to play Dinelson Lamet on the late slate like EMAC is going to do, you can do that with our ownership projections for the night slate, as well as the top stacks tool update. The projections get an update. Everything gets an update for the night slate. And that is where our founding teams made a lot of money over the course of the year. So please, right now, use that promo code Live Before Lock for half off your first month of Osmo Plus. We got San Francisco EMAC getting 4 implied runs against Chris Bassett. On the other side, Oakland's getting 5 implied runs, a pretty high total going against Madison Bumgarner, who has been pretty solid on the year. Not a perfect pitcher, certainly not as good as he was in perhaps previous years, but still solid, going pretty deep into games, giving up not a lot of power. 1.1 whip and a 4.2 xFIP on the year, and just 25% strikeout rate. So that looks solid, but Oakland does have power. The park, though, is going to favor the pitchers here. It is not a hot day, once again, in the Oakland area. And the park overall, one of the better ones in terms of limiting power. So Oakland is popping up for me as leverage or as something, or just because of the projections. I don't know why. I'm not forcing a lot of them in there, but they do keep occurring for me. I'm probably going to have less, though, than what it's trying to give me. And that's pretty much all I'm getting out of this game. So how are you feeling about it, EMAC?
Late slate only for this one. I do 2 Bassett lineups on Yahoo where he is 40, and I didn't want everybody to be, Clevenger. If I was targeting Bassett, it would be Yastrzemski, Vogt, and Dickerson. They're a little spendy on DK, so late slate for that one, and Bassett's just not getting the popularity to need the leverage. If I had to take 1 or 2 against Bumgarner, it would be Matt Chapman and Mark Conha. Chad Pinder, also cheap, and why you're getting stacks is probably Chris Davis, 2.9 on DK.
Yeah, so that'll certainly affect it. Even though Davis really just has shown very little signs of life on the year, he does continue to be priced low. And if you look at that longer-term sample size, one would hope he can get back to that. But you're right, 2,900 is pretty low. And I was getting full stacks too, though, which is wild to me. But the prices work.
Here's the question: Who is more expensive today, Chris Davis or Chris Davis? They're both in the lineup.
I think it's got to be still Chris with a K, but I imagine like Chris Davis with a C is probably like 2,800, 2,700.
Nice job. That's the DK price, 29-28.
Wow, there you
How
go.
the mighty have fallen.
A tough time to be a Chris Davis of any spelling. And it's tough because as a Chris, I want to support the Chris's, but they are not doing their jobs very much. But yeah, value prices though. So if both those guys goes off, look, if you're playing 150 tonight, put in 2 Chris Davis lineups. Why not? Like just put in Chris and Chris together, and maybe if they both go off at cheap, then you're sitting pretty, winning tournaments. Let's go on to the last game, EMAC. We have Toronto getting 4.6 implied runs against the returning Felix Hernandez, the King Felix, who is fitting the criteria of being a heavy set pitcher that I enjoy, but still not something I'll be playing today because Toronto has murdered right-hand pitching on the year overall. Got a bunch of power hitters in here who are young and feisty, and Felix Hernandez is the exact opposite of that, more like an aged lion on the prairie who is just too heavy set to go chase a gazelle down. Whereas Seattle on the other side getting 5 implied runs against Brock Stewart. Guy has also offered very little on the year. He's given up a 268 ISO going back to last season. This year, he's at a 1.5 whip and a 6 xFIP, as well as a 8.6% home run rate. So those are not good numbers. An 11% barrel ball rate as well. I am getting both Toronto and Seattle hitters. I am not getting both King Felix nor Brock Stewart. So EMAC, where do you get in this one?
So here's my little King Felix, and I am a Mariners fan. Went to their very first game back in 1977 in the Kingdom. Felix, 10 straight seasons of 190-plus innings pitched at an incredibly high level, won the 2010 Cy Young Award. That is not King Felix. He has been on the 60-day injury list. He has 4 minor league appearances. I'm guessing he's going to have about 60 pitches in him since the beginning of last season, so we can get a little bit of a sample size here. A 2.02 home run per 9 to lefties, 1.4 to righties. Isolated power is 273 to each side of the plate. Go to Toronto. Bo Bichette, and I can't believe Jake has never seen Star Wars or doesn't remember it. Vladimir Guerrero, Justin Smoke. Hey, the Smoke Monster, that's some revenge. Rowdy Tella's cheap, but you can only play him or Smoke unless you're on fantasy draft. And then Randall Grichuk, or as I said today, Randall Pink Floyd Grichuk, and he didn't get that joke either. So sad, Jake. So sad.
Jake, his references are limited to fantasy sports of all sort and hockey. That's it. But movie-wise, it's a crapshoot. I was really bummed he didn't know The Natural because I feel like that's.
Oh God, really? Come on.
Yeah. I get why you wouldn't. I mean, that's certainly like I had to go out of my way to see that, but when I was like probably around Jake's age. And but it is one where I was like, come on, we do MLB DFS, you know, The Natural. It's never I can compare a guy to The Natural when he gets called up. That's what I want to do. But yeah, I agree. Like I like the Toronto hitters here. I think they're young, they've had a lot of power. I mean, so the top 8 of Toronto's lineup, all above a 201 ISO versus right-hand pitching in the sample size going back to last year. Obviously, not all these guys have been playing going back to last year, but every single guy in this Toronto lineup has raked versus right-hand pitching. The bullpen behind King Felix. I don't know why today is the day I'm deciding to call him King Felix. The bullpen behind Felix Hernandez is not that great either, but it's not terrible. But really, if they get to Felix and they get to him heavy, that could be a big problem for them. And the stack looks pretty appealing. And Seattle on the other side, EMAC, how are you feeling about these guys? Because they have been hitting well. Obviously, we saw Tom Murphy carry Chris Randone to the double dong pay window earlier in the week. And I don't mind Seattle here either. I'm getting them a decent amount, but I'm probably not going to have much actual ownership.
I do want to call out Wilmer Font, who's going to be opening. He should be good for 35 to 40 pitches. That's 2 innings. He is 4,200. That's definitely in play on the late slate. Brock Stewart's coming in after him, 6,400 late slate play. I do like Seattle a lot just because of who they're facing. So I'm going to be on both sides of this one. I doubt I'll get much of either on the main slate outside of Toronto bats. Like I mentioned, if you're going to go for Seattle, it would be, for me, Crawford, Narvaez, and Vogelbach. That's price plays. Kyle Seager's on one hell of a hot streak. He's too expensive. And then Malik Smith, mixed results in my opinion, but he's okay. He's fairly priced. But Crawford, Narvaez, and Vogelbach are cheap across the board.
Yeah, that's actually a really nice price on Narvaez, who I think is actually a pretty competent hitter. He's hit really well on the year. And going back to last year, he's got a 183 ISO and a 129 WRC plus versus right-hand pitching, which he'll be seeing with actually Font's also righty. So yeah, both Stewart and Font he'll be seeing righties. So that's those are nice spots for Narvaez and Vogelbach. Of course, Vogelbach, a perennial EMAC favorite, which you can't ignore, simply cannot ignore.
And by the way, Brock Stewart should be good for 70 or so pitches. So at 6,400 on that late slate, he's very viable. Jake and I talked a little bit about could you play. I don't hate it. There's on DK tonight. There's a 3-game late slate and a 2-game late slate, and I'm not playing the pitchers Eovaldi or Dinelson Lamet. So I'm going mixing and matching with those last 4.
All right, that's fair. Let me just make sure it didn't. All right, so now we've covered everything. So if you guys have any questions, drop them in either the YouTube chat or the premium Slack. And of course, real fast, if you still have a little bit of time left, if you want to get on the world of rake-free daily fantasy over at fantasydraft.com, go check them out. They're obviously going to be doing a lot of NFL contests. They still have MLB contests every single day before that. So go check out the home of rake-free daily fantasy over at fantasydraft.com. For a limited time, Fantasy Draft is offering a free 7-day trial on your first $1,000 in rake-free entries. So go to fantasydraft.com, use the promo code AWESEMO, AWESEMO. To claim your free 7-day trial, and of course to help support the show and just help us keep the lights on here. Because Fantasy Draft, the happier they are, the happier we'll all be. Let's see, looking at the chat, people asking either or questions, which we're not there yet. We're not there yet.
Right, 9 minutes. So I'm running my stacks. The 4-4 is taking a long time. So if you haven't started pushing the 4-4s, do it now because we only have 9 minutes.
Boy, a lot of either ors in the YouTube chat. YouTube chat loves either ors. So I'll tell you that much.
Oh, throw them out there. We'll answer it quickly.
All right. So if you are a premium member, that is the best way, by the way, for either ors, because Alex's projections are going to be better than, even though yes. I love EMAC and I love myself too, just turning to those is the best choice for you. So that is why we do recommend having that premium membership, that Osmo Plus membership. But we will answer a few here. Nova and Abreu or Means and Carlos Santana for our guy, Matthew Prodwell.
Means and Santana, you get the leverage there for Means going against the Padres. Means and who?
Means and Carlos Santana or
Santana,
Ivan Nova and Abreu.
Yeah. Definitely the Means and Santana.
Yes, I would agree with that.
It's smooth.
Too. Yeah, I mean, look, I think Nova's not a bad play, and I'd favor him personally, but I agree the leverage kind of makes sense. Can EMAC chug a Truly? I'm sure EMAC can. He's too classic.
I finished it. I have a stomach ache now. I'm not a fan. That will probably be my last one until next summer.
What is this question? John B, White Claw or a pink feathered sweater? First of all, I would have no issue with either. Second of all, I'm just going to say real fast, White Claw is not a determination of being a man. Like, it's not Ron Reese, White Claw or being a man. If you're defining yourself based on the alcohol you drink, that's just not the way the world should work. You are better than that. All of you in the YouTube chat and myself and all of us as men, we are better than that. You are more than your products you put in. Just because you're not drinking whiskeys on the rocks. Like, I tried to do that. I watched Deadwood too, guys. If I could drink whiskey shots, I would just go into a bar and be like, let me get a shot of whiskey. You know what happened? I blacked out every day for like a 3-month window. So it's not the best. So don't do that. Just don't feel like you have to prove your masculinity by drinking things.
All right. Kevin McKay, boots with the fur. Those are Uggs. Come on. You got to know that. Apple bottom jeans, boots with the fur.
I don't normally show the shoes I'm wearing, but I am in fact wearing Ugg slippers right now too.
Oh, boy.
As Tom Brady would. Oh, is the best quarterback of all time? Is what, you're better than him? You're more of a man.
Does he drink White Claw? Because
he does. That's not TB12. That's very
TB12 does not drink White Claw.
No, there's no chance. There's no chance about that. But it's just whatever makes you happy, guys. Find things that make you happy, not like to look cool to YouTube. Would be my pick. McCod asking for the Paul Blackburn of the night, of course, the historical award. I don't know if we've done that on the show with you.
We haven't, but Jake did give his. It's Chichi Gonzalez.
Oh, he's going Chichi. I would prefer Chichi Rodriguez over Chichi Gonzalez.
I would as well.
But for my cheap guy, I honestly didn't dumpster dive too much for pitching today. So I may not be the most qualified to answer it, but yeah, I think, man, it does have to be Chichi. It does have to. God, I had enough Lambert yesterday where I was just like, I hate it. And it was like 10% Lambert, but I just knew that was a bad idea. And that is how I feel about Chichi. But sure, at that price, maybe he opens up some bats. Maybe he opens up a Minnesota Boston stack or something, or Minnesota, whatever, Cleveland. So yeah. Oh, those are bad jokes. Any good suggestions at outfield? That is overbroad. That is overly broad. For FanDuel, here's a FanDuel pitching question for GPP. Would you go Dakota Hudson or Kyle Gibson?
Gibson for sure. 9 out of 10 would be Gibson.
That is a firmly a move for Kyle Gibson. Do you carry a man purse too? El Negro Loco asks. No, I do not. But you know what? If you want to carry a man purse, there's some dads out there who have to carry their kids' stuff, whatever. Carry your man purse. Just own it. Just own whatever you do in life, and then you'll be fine. Aquino or Ozuna? That's an interesting question.
Oh, that's a really good one.
Man,
I would
favor Aquino.
I'm going Aquino, and it's a good one. I just the dinged up and kind of crappy last year, even though his last year's numbers and this year's numbers against righties are wait, we said Ozuna, St. Louis Ozuna, right? Or Osuna?
No, Ozuna, yeah, with the
Ozuna, yeah. I'd go with Aquino.
Yeah, look, this is a limited sample size for Aquino, but you really can't ignore he's faced 61 righty batters and he's got a 500 ISO. That is a lot of power, man. And Ozuna is not quite there. Maybe he'll regress, but I find it hard to imagine Aquino is going to be less than a 200 ISO hitter, whereas Ozuna is a 186 guy. And the matchup's probably better, but I think with Aquino, you're also getting leverage on that Williams ownership. And for Ozuna, there really isn't going to be much ownership going against them. So going against Chichi. So I don't think, I think overall both ways it would be Aquino for me. What? Hair plugs? I have the lush head of hair. I have a lot of hair, not a million years.
Yeah, I got the receding hairline. Fortunately, I don't have the fryer.
Something to aspire to.
A wave goodbye to the brave soldiers as they circle the drain every morning. There you go.
Yeah. No, I think if I were to bald, I would just shave my head and just try to be Stone Cold Steve Austin. Then I'd be pounding White Claws like Stone Cold Steve Austin, cheersing them together, giving a hell yeah.
Oh boy. Okay.
Got 4 minutes left to lock, guys. It's not a 7:10 today, right? Please, for the love of God.
7:05. So I'm downloading here. Let's hope it works.
Yeah, my lineups are in, so I'm feeling good. Hudson or Fried for DK Cash? That is definitely Max Fried. That's not even close.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, don't even think twice.
Yeah, Fried Fried could get blown up, but the ownership and his just ability in general to limit power is where you're going to be for Cash. That's a Fried move. I'm not even gonna lose the man bun. You'll get more respect. If you think I'm hosting a YouTube show on a Saturday for respect, my friend, you are sadly mistaken. You're sadly mistaken. Let's see. How many dongs for Bader? I'm honestly not that big on St. Louis against Chichi. I think Chichi does enough to limit it. I mean, he's not going to be good by any stretch, but I just don't see St. Louis blowing up like that. And Bader, 124 ISO against Chichi, like that's not the guy I would think is going to go nuts.
Yeah, $7 on Yahoo is where I'm playing him. I think I have similarly on that. Pair them together on at least two of those lineups. So for me, that was my one thought: is Bader swinging from his heels. Hope his eyes are open and he connects.
Yeah, I think that's fair. 3K on DraftKings too. That's a reasonable price, but Bader not a dude I'm like dying to get there. But if you get there, sure, he's a decent value guy. But to me, he's kind of like a Duffy type, where it's like I'm not most excited to be there, even though he's got a little more pop than Duffy, obviously.
But what about, because the Mandalorian preview came out
today? Yeah, I would play if Darth Vader got some at bats today. If we guaranteed me 2 Darth Vader at bats, he could just force choke the ball out of a park.
Well, but you've seen the home run by the Stormtroopers.
I have not seen that.
Oh boy! All right, I'll look for that. We've got 2 minutes to lock. I'll read my percentages once we're done, but this will be fun.
Yep. Okay. That was. I don't even know who's commenting on the Osmo channel. That's not me, by the way. I just commented in there. I don't care about your opinion about man buns, but like that's.
Darth Vader hits a home run here. I'm going to put it. Link. There's no ads. Let's put that in the YouTube channel. Well worth watching in your leisure, Chris.
Yeah, I'll keep that in mind. I'll check it out the second we get done. Actually, no, I won't. I'll be doing an SEO article about Washington, D.C. betting. Oh, good. They're now advocating for fat shaming in the chat. That's fun on YouTube. Hell of a day on YouTube. Premium Slack real fast. But
I'm festively plump. Come on, let's be nice.
No, that's how this guy's defining it. He's like, this guy in the chat is like, I can change people's lives by commenting on their gaining weight. Like that's not, you don't just tact is the move. Gerard. All right, we're locked right now. So EMAC, give us those percentages.
All right. Ended up on more Williams than expected. That's a function of his price. These are DK. Clevenger 46, Chase Anderson 39, Kyle Gibson 35, Williams 30. I did put in a handful of four-man Cincinnati stacks just to counter that, so I've got about 1% Cincinnati. Max Fried 30, Gallon 8, Bassett 5, Lamet 4, Novo 2, Wheeler only 1. It's a price play. I've got a fair enough amount of him over there on Yahoo. Catchers, Yadi Molina 19, Chirino 17, Narvaez 11, Jansen 8, Goldie 34. So hope he gets the home run like Jake is counting on to take the lead from me, but that's okay because Nelly Cruz is going to get 2 because he needs 2 pair. Oh, wait, that's 4. All right, Nelly Cruz for 4 tonight, tying the major league record. Jesus Aguilar 21, Rowdy Tellez 17. I think people are sleeping on him. But, of course, that does cost you the Smoke Monster. Altuve, 15. Luis Arez, 14. Colton Wong, 13. So I'm punting second base. I've got Pablo Reyes. I don't even know who that is. He's for Pittsburgh. Yikes. Yes. Duffy is 20%. That's a price function. Bregman, 15. Arias is 14, but he's 2 position eligible. Vladdy Jr. 9. Francisco Lindor. Want to guess my percentages? And I run about half my lineups are only 4-0 or 5-0, so I get a lot of one-offs.
Lindor, I'm going to guess you're at 25.
40%. There you go, Josh Engelman. There you go.
That's a lot. I've been trying to do that less ever since the Mike Trout. What series was that? There was one this week, which they all blends together. But after I kept getting Mike Trout as a one-off over and over again, and he had that was for the rare days he got 3 fantasy points and 7. I'm just like, no, I'm going to cap my exposure now. So I've been capping pretty aggressively. So I'm not getting to 40% of any position player at this point.
3% Nelson Cruz. That's going to hurt. I did not get 21% Kepler, 14% Jake Cave. Didn't get a lot of Minnesota, but that's okay because I have 3 Minnesota stacks.
Okay, that's fair. All right, guys, so hit that like button before you go. Of course, again, use that promo code Live Before Lock for half off your first month of Osmo Plus. If you're playing the night slate tonight, it's going to help you out a bunch. Obviously, EMAC will be playing. EMAC is the king of the night slates himself. Loves to get in there. But of course, our ownership team, our founding team of Osmo.com has made their bones with night slate content and being able to take advantage of the ownership there. So go check that out now with the promo code Live Before Lock for half off your first month. And EMAC, what is your show schedule tomorrow?
Josh and I will be on at noon covering the main slate for baseball. We'll be doing, office hours at 3. And I've completed about 150 best ball drafts over there on Draft. They don't have best balls set up for slow yet on Yahoo, so I'm going to do some fast drafts there. But I'm working on my rankings. I'm going to place them up. We got all sorts of free NFL content, game or team capsules for all 32 teams. You get Alex's season-long rankings and draft list. I'm going to throw mine up there. You got some stuff there from Laffy. You've got Chris and Laffy counterpointing various position players. And that's all free. So I know a lot of you railbirds out there like it. But I meant to mention this earlier, and we'll hit it on tomorrow's show. Hopefully some people are still watching. Yahoo Fantasy app will allow you to stream any NFL game this season. That includes in-market games from your phone. By the way, if you're tech savvy, not your old pal, but if you're tech savvy, you can throw that up on your TV.
I'm, by the way, watching the Darth Vader home run right now, and
that's awesome, isn't it?
It's well produced. I'll give they did a good job. I mean, relative to what you would expect from the Japanese Pacific League, I think. But he blew up a planet with it. Okay,
no, it's the Death Star. He blows up the Death Star.
Oh, okay. That's what that was. Okay,
that's why they all hang their heads like, oh no, we've screwed up.
Hopefully that's what Nelson Cruz does today. He blows that up for you, or Miguel Sano for me would be even better. But yeah, EMAC will be back tomorrow. I will be doing our Osmo Fantasy Celebrity Draft on Monday. We got Lisa Ann. We have Christopher Harris from the Harris Football Show.
Nice.
We also have, I think some other luminaries who I'm not sure if they've been confirmed publicly or not, but some big names are going to be in that. So check out the Osmo_com Twitter handle because they'll be doing a live show with that. I'll be on vacation, but I'll still be doing that draft, and somebody will be doing a live stream for it or video content.
Which day is that?
Around it. What was that?
Tomorrow?
That's Monday.
Monday. Okay, excellent. I'm looking forward to that.
Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern time. So keep your eyes peeled there on Monday because that'll be a fun one. We have some big names going for that stuff. But yeah, we'll be back with you guys soon. So subscribe to that notification bell. We'll see whenever we have content coming out in the channel. And I appreciate you guys. And I'm going on vacation. So I'll see you guys in a week or whatever. But enjoy, guys. Good luck.
All right. Hasta la vista, baby.